Hello everyone, welcome to the Ozark Outpost. This is Global War 85, Operation Nike, Soviet Global Command 2.3. Okay, here we go. The first thing that we have, if you recall, this is turn 2 for the Soviets. Normally we would roll for a Soviet random event, but I've chosen to play Iran-Iraq War. So that is now in effect. Iran and Iraq are at war. I guess I better go ahead and give you the lowdown on it. I did on the others. Okay, in its 5th year, Iran-Iraq War has devolved into a series of grinding border clashes. Seeing an opportunity into the rich oil lands of the Middle East, the Soviet Union offers significant assistance to Iraq, allowing them to improve their forces and resume significant offensive operations for the first time in over 3 years. We changed the light infantry in Mosul to mechanized infantry, which you see there. We added an MBT to Baghdad and an artillery to Basra. The Soviets control Iraq, U.S. controls Iran. U.S. Global Command has to add 1 IPP to the cost of Iranian military aid. In order for one side to win the war, he has to completely possess the other side. If Iraq wins, it immediately signs a military pact with Soviet Global Command. If Iran wins, it remains neutral, but will align to U.S. Global Command if the Soviets attack it. After winning, the victor may redeploy his units in any Iranian or Iraqi home country land zones. Military aid is allowed for both sides. The Soviets may declare war on Iran under limited circumstances. At the beginning of the Soviet Global Command turn, if Iran possesses any Iraqi land zone, the Soviet player may roll to declare war on Iran. Soviet Global receives 2 dice if Iran possesses Baghdad and 1 die each for Iranian possession of Mosul or Basra. Roll of 10 plus on a single die is a declaration of war. If war is declared, then Iraq immediately signs a military pact with Soviet Global Command and the random event is concluded. Now, under weapons of mass destruction, it says Iraq may use 1 chemical attack in a single zone where it is attacking or defending with artillery. And it says if Iran wins the war, Soviet Global Command is released for battlefield nukes against Iran and released for nuclear anti-ship missiles against U.S. Global Command. Okay, covered all that. Now let's get going. Tech. AMD, computers, Caterpillar drive, advanced airborne doctrine. And it looks like they got advanced airborne, and that's it. So advanced airborne doctrine goes to stage 2. Yeah, not very good dice roll in there. Okay, next up, global operations. We'll just close off the outpost there. The Assistant Chief of Staff is having a bit of a fit at the moment. Global operations insurgency section. So PRF is placing an insurgent in neighboring Honduras. Okay, next purchase. And this time the Soviet purchase is all military aid. Every last ruble. Let me get my notes here to make sure I say all this correctly. Okay. The PRF random event allows the Soviets to send 2 units of military aid to them with Red Skies and arms sales. So for a total of 10, the Soviets are sending a fighter and a SAM to Nicaragua. Cuba, also using Red Skies and arms sales, is getting a SAM for a cost of 1. Iraq, also using arms sales, is getting an attack bomber for 3. FEC is getting a Yak-38 for 5. And Warsaw Pact, the Soviet Global is allowed to send them 2 units of military aid per turn if they want. And they're sending them a next-gen MBT and an airborne for 10. So that's all the military aid that was purchased. We have FEC and Warsaw Pact are allowed by the normal rules. Cuba is allowed by the normal rules military aid to 1 minor faction, and then PRF and Iraq, the aid is allowed per event rules. Okay, now that takes us to combat. And we're going to come over here to the Middle East, and we're going to have a little bit of combat. So the SRBM here in Baghdad is going to shoot a missile 1-2 spaces in a facility strike on the minor air base in Tehran. Then these 2 mechs in Mosul are going to attack into Tabriz. The Spag is going to go along for the attack, and the fighter is going along to support that attack. And then down here we have 3 MBTs from Baghdad attacking into Shiraz, along with 2 MBTs from Basra and an artillery from Basra that is going to shoot chemical. So there's our attacks. Iran has decided they will not scramble their fighter from Tehran. They're going to hold it in reserve. So let's get this done. Okay, we're going to start with the facility strike by the SRBM on the minor air base. Let's get this stuff out of here. And that is, was that a D2 or a D3? Facility strike is a D3 for an SRBM. So get our handy dandy D3 here. Oh, wait a minute. What are we doing? What are we doing? AMD first. That was a 3 that was rolled. But first I gotta have a chance to shoot it down. And there's a 4 it does. So the SRBM was shot down. No, wait. Miners don't get AMD, do they? No, they don't. So he rolled a 3 for damage, which is 3 actual damage. So let me go get a marker. And that minor airbase is damaged. And now unusable, unless the damage gets paid for. Okay, next we're going to do the attack in Tabriz. Okay, I moved things to the battle boards. So we've got 2 mechs at a 2 because of the mountain combat penalty. Fighter at a 6, Spags in the retirement box, and 2 mechs defending at a 5. So, first up, 2 mechs. Okay, there is 1 hit. 1 hit. Now, fighter. There's a 5. That's the second hit that's needed. 2 mechs defend. They got 1 hit in return. So, the 2 Iranian mechs come off, and Iraq loses 1 mech. And Iraq, grab a roundel here. Iraq captures Tabriz with 1 mech and 1 spag. There's the fighter hanging around waiting his turn in non-combat to finish up. Okay, now we'll do the attack on Tabriz. I'll move that stuff to the battle board. Okay, I've got that stuff moved to the battle board. We got an artillery shooting him in first strike. We got 5 MBTs. We have 3 mechs defending, and since there's no air units, their spag went to the retirement box. Okay, so artillery shoots 2 chem dice at 3. Okay, those both miss. Now we got 5 MBTs at 3 because of the mountain combat penalty. And there's 3 hits, which is what they needed because there's just 3 mechs defending. So, 3 mechs defend, and they got 2 hits in return. Okay, so the Iranian units come off. Iraqis lose 2 MBTs. Grab another roundel. And Iraq captures Shiraz with 3 MBTs and an artillery. Okay. Now, the capture of that zone is going to have some oil implications for U.S. and maybe NATO. Let me look that up real quick. Okay, there we go. Since Shiraz has been captured by a bad guy, NATO loses a tanker from I-6. And US Global loses the tanker from I-1, the rules say. So let me put these on the respective dashboards so that I know this oil income has to be subtracted off. And now we move on. Okay, that's it for combat. For non-combat, we're gonna have just two. I gotta walk around to get the pieces, so I'll show you what's happening, then I'll go get them. There in Western Ukraine, there's an airborne and a fighter that are going to airlift and rebase down here to the Soviet active Allied base in Angola. So, get them placed here in Angola. There we go. Okay, that's the end of non-combat. Next up, we need to do some recruitment roles. We will do PRF first. They are still a single land zone. They missed with a 6. Iraq has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 land zones. Okay, there's a 1. Iraq got theirs. So they are going to choose I think they're going to choose to put 2 militia in Baghdad. There we go. Okay, next up, we got to deliver all this military aid. Since we're already right here, we will just go on and do Iraq first. So they've got an attack bomber delivered to Baghdad. Now, we'll come over to this part of the world. We've got a SAM and a fighter going into Nicaragua. Chip under the SAM that's already there. Now, over here to Cuba, they got a SAM. A little more air defense for them. Now we shift over here to Warsaw Pact. And the next gen MBT and the airborne are going into West Czechoslovakia. There's that. And then FEC gets the Yak-38, which is going to be placed aboard their brand new heavy aircraft cruiser, which is there in P8 with the Pacific Fleet. All right, that's that. And we just need to collect money. You see, the Soviets are still at 34. So that's what they're going to have. Ozark Outpost. Over and out.